So the last differing perspective between the colonists and the British citizens is on this idea of declaring independence. The colonists finding themselves to be justified in their actions versus the British that find this act to be the highest act of treason. So as you know from your earlier activity today, treason is the crime of betraying or going against one's own country, especially by attempting to either kill their ruler, like kill the king, or overthrow the government. And that is exactly what the colonists do. They try to get rid of Great Britain, overthrow the government. So let's just take a look at this quick presentation and decide for yourself. Were the colonists justified, or did the colonists commit treason? So as we saw in our benchmark a couple weeks ago when we looked at the breakup letter, this infamous breakup letter, it states, there are times when it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the government ties which have connected them with another, and to take on the power and freedom that are rightfully theirs under nature and endowed by God. In such times, they should announce the causes which make them want to separate. Right? This is just proof, one little piece from the Declaration of Independence, where they're stating, we are no longer going to be a part of this nation. We are overthrowing Great Britain's rule in the colonies. So let's just take a look at the punishment for what treason was if you were committed of this crime in Great Britain. So one of the biggest punishments, so let's say you're in Great Britain and you speak up against the king, you could be on punishment. You could be on trial and punished for treason. So male convicts were often either fastened to a wooden panel and drawn by horse, which we're going to show in a few minutes, but most of them were actually hanged. The majority of people committed of treason, if you were male, was being hanged in public as a form of torture and embarrassment. Other methods were being disemboweled, so being cut open and being removed of your internal organs, and you're awake during that process, so it's very much a torturous process. Another method would be being beheaded, having your head chopped off. And then this is what I was talking about in the slide before. It's called being quartered. So you would be usually on a wooden panel and being stretched in all four directions until you pretty much snap. So back in Great Britain, treason, it was very easy to be committed of this. This is not a democracy here, right? All the power is in the hands of the king. And if you speak up against the king in any sort of way, you can be, charged with acting against your own government, aka treason. Even, so yeah, here you see this is being quartered, so he's being stretched in the four directions. And even women, if you were, maybe dressing inappropriate or acting with outside your gender role, you could be committed of treason as well. And oftentimes you were burned at the stake alive. Think of like the Salem witchcraft trials of the women that were being burned at the stake. So it was very easy to be committed of treason back in Britain. So the fact that the colonists, were actually writing a breakup letter is pretty serious. Even all of the founding fathers that were there, especially Thomas Jefferson, who was the main author of the Declaration of Independence, they knew what they were doing. They knew they were committed treason, but they all knew that this was in their perspective, for the greater good. So like I said, they were very aware of the risk of breaking up with Great Britain by literally saying, we don't want to be a part of you anymore, that they were committing the highest act of treason against the British king. So really, were they justified in their behaviors, or did they really commit an act of treason, something wrong that they should not have done? I'm not giving you an answer either way. It's just something interesting to think about, that there's always two sides to every story, even in history.